Okay, guys, so we're going to work through some of this homework. They just want you to verify that this happens. I believe it's true. Okay, so now it says calculate the p-value. So we're going to do the hypothesis test using the calculator. So if we go to the calculator, you're going to go stat, you're going to go to tests, and notice they give you x and n. That means this is a proportion, so this is a one prop z-test. Okay, so we enter that. They want to know p naught, that's going to be your 0.8. Okay, they want to know x, which is 110. They want to know n, which is 125. And then they tell you p is greater than 0.05. So that would be greater than, p is greater than 0.08. So sorry, that. Okay, you don't have color, that's fine. Leave that alone, but we're going to calculate. And they ask for the p-value. This is 0.013 because they want us to round to 3 decimals. So 0.013. Check the answer. Good job. And so that's 0.013. Compare that to alpha, which is 0.015. P is less than alpha. So we reject the null because the p-value is less than alpha. Okay. And you're done with that problem. And so these ones are similar. It's kind of self-explanatory once you understand like the lingo behind it. So if you go to stat and you go to tests, z-test is for one. It's basically one mean test. It's a mean test. T-test is a mean test. You use T if you don't know the standard deviation. So if you go to it and you see something like this is the mean, well, we don't see a mean here, so we can't use this one. We see X bar, which is the sample mean. We see SX, which is the sample standard deviation. We don't see either of those, so we can't use this one. And these ones are obviously mean tests. Two sample Z test and two sample Z T test. Those are both when you have two different means and two different. You basically have two different samples and you want to compare them. One prop Z test is what we just did. Two prop Z test is if you have two different samples and you want to compare them. We've got Z interval and T interval. That's if you want to test an interval that deals with the mean. Two sample Z int. That's if you have two samples with means in them. And you want to get an interval for those. We've got one prop Z interval. These are intervals, so proportion intervals. We have chi-test, which has to do with standard deviation and matrices, but we're not going to use that one, I don't think, either of the chi ones. Two sample f-test we will end up using because that's how we're going to compare two standard deviation proportion or comparisons. And then we've got linear regression tests and ANOVA. I don't know if we'll get to those, but we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to go through some of these with you. So this one's obviously a proportion. Again, you'll do the same things we did a minute ago. Just make sure you test this. Do n times p naught. P naught is this. P times 5.52, whatever the adds up to 100 with this. Or 1. So those ones will be done. This one is p is greater than 0.5 if and obtain the p-value of 0.27. So alpha is probably smaller than that. It usually is about 27. So just go through that, figure that answer out. I think you guys will understand it. So you can go through this. That was in the PowerPoint. It's pretty self-explanatory. I hope you can figure that out. This one too. This one too. These are all proportion ones. Let's look for a mean one. Explain what a p-value is. What is the criteria for rejecting a null hypothesis? I've said that many times throughout the last video. So this one is probably, no, this is also a p. proportion. Okay. I wonder where are all the mean ones? I don't see any of the mean homework. Maybe I didn't put it in here. Headline reporting the poll. The poll results were recorded. Explain why the poll's heading is inaccurate. Okay, you can do that probably. We talked about this as well. I wonder why. Where's all the mean questions? Did I not put any? That's not good. That's not a mean, that's proportion. I know it's proportion because they're giving 309 out of 1,000 and something. They're not giving you an actual mean. I wonder what I did with all the mean stuff, though. Oh, well. Guys, the mean ones are the same. You will do mean things. It's going to be t-tests and z-tests. And so I'm going to add some of those to this. If you're going to do mean tests, you're just going to go to either t or z-test. You're going to, instead of, if you leave it on data, it's going to use a list. So you don't want to do that if I give you the values. Let's say that we want to test 0.5 is the mean. Actually, no, not 0.5. Let's say we want to test that 60 is the mean of a data set and that the sample has a mean of 62.8 with a standard deviation of 0.75. No, let's do 1.1. Obviously, this is a sample, and let's say the sample is 125. And let's say we want to say that it's greater than, because obviously this mean is greater than that. So let's calculate it. Oh, wow. So the p is this. If you get e to the negative 56, then that means that you move the decimal 56 times to the left. So that's 0.000. Yeah, very, very small. So there is a high chance that it is greater than in this case. The p-value will definitely be less than any alpha you can choose, unless you choose like 0.0000. Yeah, you'd have to choose 58 zeros or something. But I hope this helps you guys with the homework. I think I'm just going to leave this homework alone. I'm not going to add more to it because you're going to get plenty of practice. It's literally the same. Doing a mean test is literally the same thing as doing a proportion test, only you enter the mean and the standard deviation rather than the proportion like the x and the n. So it's just different buttons on the calculator you have to practice, and you'll get practice with that anyway. For the most part, we'll be doing t-tests a lot of the time anyway. So I hope this helps, guys. Make sure that you're practicing the homework and doing these things because it will help you with the third test and the final. Thank you, guys.